real glitch or anything. We're just basically abusing every mechanics of the game and everything that is not good with the game. It's one of those RPG Maker game that are on Steam and makes you wonder why they are here. So right at the start, at this little area, there's no real story, but well, it doesn't really matter. So we're in this well, and we need to train. And we'll also need to get 25 gold, which is completely random, but right now it's pretty good. We got it. I say it is completely random because we can either get 1 or 11 gold. There's no way to make it work for us, or we can either get 22 from killing these rats. We got 34, so that's really good. So we'll leave the well and basically go back to our home, and this old guy will say that he watched us and ask us if we want to get a class or something. So we choose ninja. The reason is, first of all, the weapon that we're going to buy is really good at the start of the game before we change. And the crit rate in this game is based on your class and the weapon, the weapon that you have. And right now we have 24% chance of doing a critical hit. It's not the highest, but like I mentioned, since the weapon is really good early game, it is the most powerful combo you can get. Right now we got our first quest, which is the only one we'll do. It is basically to save a guy, but the reward is the key to the first dungeon. There are 4 of them, and all the dungeons are pretty much using the same pattern, which is a mini-boss, which is a unique enemy in the dungeon. We drop the key to the boss room, which are all different. And there are a lot of rooms which are totally useless, and we don't need to go. So we just need to save this guy, which doesn't make any sense. I don't know how we got there, but yeah. And like I mentioned, this game does not make any sense. So we just need to make our way back to the village, and then we'll be off and we'll not get back to the village for the rest of the run. Also, like I mentioned, since every dungeon are using the same pattern, each dungeon has kind of a status that it can inflict upon you. On the first dungeon, it's in the mine we were just in, so it's fire. So we can get a burn status, which deals a lot of damage over time, over like 10 seconds, but is not too bad if we don't get it while we are burning, because now it can get dangerous since we don't have any health potion. And later on the status will change, and I'll explain how it works when we get there. So now we're making our way to the first dungeon, which was on the right. There's no way, sadly, to enter this dungeon without the key as of yet. It would be amazing, because the game kind of checks if you have the key. So yeah, basically fire dungeon, everything you expect, fireball, scorpion, kind of mage. This is the mini boss, which is just a regular enemy, which what? Okay, this is really bad. Doesn't make any sense. This is really bad also. I have to save, which is not a good thing, because as I mentioned, this game is not very glitchy, but it's very optimized, so time is not to be wasted. We'll save anyway. So in this boss, yeah, we're dead. How it works is at the beginning you use the same attack that the mini boss use, but we can kind of walk forward at the same time that it pushes us backward. What? So the game kind of sees that you're getting pushed backward and forward at the same time, so it just does not move you anywhere. Oh my god. This is really bad. I really need to get... Oh my god, this is horrible. Can I reset or something? Because I know this is a no reset thing, but this is... Okay. So we'll just reset because right now there's no way to... Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Sorry for this, there is... I guess it's the stress of being here, but this is not something that has happened for me in a long time. The mini boss is just screwing me over. So obviously this is now the same thing as before. We lost. Hope we get everything we want as fast as possible. And the game does not mess with us. Alright. So we got a 25 gold, this is good. So now it's pretty much the same as we just did, because we had to reset, unfortunately. But yeah, normally the mini boss is not that hard, but I missed the second attack, which was unfortunate. So, and I got just pushed everywhere and couldn't do anything. Also, something I didn't mention is the fact that I got the choice of multiple classes, but I choose ninja. Again, I mentioned that crit rate and all, but I could have chose something like archer or mage, which would have used magic or a bow and arrow. But the thing is, how these games work is arrows basically goes in a straight line. Magic is kind of around you, but not everywhere around you, obviously. But melee weapon basically attacks in a cone for some reason. So you can position it yourself to be able to attack the enemy while they are not able to attack you, which is very good and is something, like I mentioned, that we are abusing in this game. Slowly making our way back to the first dungeon. The thing is also, I mentioned that the katana was a really good weapon, but the thing is, this game is kind of weird. As I mentioned, sometimes you can kill enemies in 2 hits, like the rats, or in 1 hit, and it's basically random. And for the mini boss, for example, in the first dungeon, you can kill him in either 2 hits or kind of 4 or 5, which is really annoying because obviously you gotta go fast. Now that we've completed the quest yet again, we'll go back to where we were. Like I mentioned in the beginning, this game is one of many of the games that you kind of question why they are on Steam, because, you know, quick money grab or something, unpolished and thingy like that. And the thing with this game is that first of all, the story does not make any sense at all. You basically have a dream where a guy tells you to do something, you just go, all right, and you can do it. Which is kind of stupid. And it's like, all right, okay, we'll just wait. But this should be good. All right. So now we shouldn't have an issue with anything, but we'll save just to make sure. So now that we grabbed a boss key without having 50 health left by getting wrecked, this is something that is better. Now, alright, so first boss is down, finally, and as you may have saw, some menu appeared and everything. So at the end of every dungeon, you can have a magical weapon that use your mana points if you use it. And these weapons can inflict to the enemy the status of the dungeon. So if I were to use the weapon I just got, I could burn the enemy, which would be good, but since the weapon is a bow and arrow, it's really bad for us to use it. But the weapon we'll use in a moment after the second dungeon is actually the weapon from the second dungeon, and it's amazingly good. Right now we're basically picking this strange key up from near a waterfall. As I mentioned, when I mentioned this game is pretty weird, is that this key is staying there forever. I could pick it up 100 times if I wanted to. But right now, this key is actually the key to access the third dungeon, and it was just laying around there. And right now we're going to visit a old woman who will sell us a gem that will allow us to go to the second dungeon, which doesn't make any sense either. Yep. So now we're slowly making our way to kind of the main city of the game. We're at now, it's Oblivia, and we're just going to buy some mana potion and health potion to help throughout the game. Alright, so now we're going to the second dungeon. Second dungeon is probably at the same time the hardest and the easiest dungeon of them all because of the mini boss and the boss respectively. The status of the dungeon is basically insanity, so you cannot do anything while you are insane, and this lasts about 10 to 15 seconds, which is really annoying and is a run killer at this point. And the mini boss can make you insane, so we just have to be really careful with it when he attacks us, and now we're missing everything. Right, oh good. So now, pretty good, we didn't get any insanity. And when I said that it was the easiest dungeon because of the boss is basically just disappearing and appearing randomly like he does now. And the pattern is always the same, there's no RNG or anything, so we can just move where it'll go and do the maximum amount of damage we can do. Alright. So that was a good fight. Could have gone more critical hits, but no control over that. And I just equipped the kind of the weapon of the dungeon. As I mentioned before, it does about triple the damage of the katana. It's very consistent and can make enemies insane, even bosses, which is really good, especially on the third boss, if we can manage to, which should happen because talk about him a bit later, but the third boss is really moving around a lot. So if we can make him insane, he will basically walk a lot slower, so that is a lot easier for us to go through the dungeon. Now the third dungeon is really easy because by going to the left, the mini-boss will actually move in a way that we'll see here, he just stops and is not doing anything. So it's really easy to kill, and since we attack in a cone area, it just becomes a lot easier. Now we're going to the boss. And we're hoping that we can make him insane as soon as possible. And he does not seem to want to. Oh, okay. So it was a good fight. The ending was a bit slow, but it was good. So right now we're done about 3 dungeons out of 4. And we're making our way to the 4th and last dungeon before the final boss. Final boss being the guy that we saw in the beginning that I kind of mashed through because it did not matter. But yeah. So 3rd dungeon, just need to grab a quick mana potion. 3rd dungeon, the mini boss is annoying because it's only a one lane thingy, so I can just want only one lane. And as you have seen, the attack in this dungeon pushes you backward, so it can make the passing that lane really hard if we cannot get anything good. Oh, anyway, not that bad. This is okay. And the boss moves around a lot in the beginning, then we'll go in the center. We can get a quick kill, kind of, if we manage to attack him before he gets to the center, which is what we'll try to do here. And oh, what? Oh, this is really good. Nice, this was amazing. Didn't think the first time that I made this boss insane, it was really good. But yeah, so now we're making our way actually to the final boss. Just checks if we have everything that he wanted us to bring. Time is coming up real soon. I'll explain how the boss works. Just at the final hit, I'll just tell time when we get there. It's really an easy fight again. We're just abusing his pattern. If we can. Alright, so time is coming up in about time. So this was it. How this boss works is he basically uses every attack that the previous boss used, and the first being kind of the circle of fire in the first dungeon and a diagonal attack. The circle of fire I can obviously walk forward, which I did not get to work, to not go back. And the diagonal thingy, I can go in a spot where it does not attack me. It still does this attack, but I will hit him, so it becomes way easier to kill him and becomes a really fast kill. So that was basically secret of Magia. Hope you all enjoyed the game.